At this point, I'd like to tell you just a little bit about myself and how I came to be where I am and to have the dream, and to take the challenge to run for the United States Senate. I started off as a Sunday school teacher. My dad was a minister. I come from a family of 11, and my father started a bus company when he didn't even have a bus. He started it with a station wagon. But he had the contracts and he knew it was coming. And so my dad used to always tell us, he said, son, and it was six boys, 3 girls, my mom and my dad. And he said, son, if you don't have a job, make one. That was his mantra. There was no excuses. Well, Dad, I couldn't find a job, or no. You don't have a job? Oh, you don't have a job, huh? Oh, you think you're gonna get some sympathy here? Make one. And so my dad instilled in us a very strong work ethic. We weren't poor at all, but we just thought it was normal when you were in 3rd and 4th and 5th grade in that area that you always slept with someone. We didn't know that that everyone other people had their own rooms, own beds. We just were just as happy as we could be. I mean, we had 3 meals a day and loving parents. That was just the life. We didn't know. But I still don't consider that poor. We just didn't have enough room to have enough beds at that point. But I always loved dealing with people. My parents were good Christian. They instilled in us good Christian values, and values that I hold today and teach my children today. But as I was teaching Sunday school, I would be over the outreach, and I would go and bring people to Sunday school, bring kids to Sunday school, and I just thought that was the life. That was the life. Eventually, I married my wife. We've been married 19 years last Thursday. We have 4 beautiful children, 2 boys, 2 girls, and I have just a wonderful family that I'm so proud of. I graduated from Chicago State University at that point with a business degree, and I was looking for a job, and a position opened up, and the position was, and don't throw me out the room when I say this now, please don't throw me out the room, it was called community organizing. Do not throw me out the room.
Hey, Chicago, Al Capone.
Oh, there you go.
He was the original organizer.
And so I went.
That's really a job?
That's the same thing I asked. I asked, do they actually pay? I mean, is this, do you get a real salary? I mean, is this real? Well, I found out, yes, it was actually real. I mean, you actually get paid for it. And so I began to find out, well, what do these community organizers do? And what if I was hired, what would I do? And they told me, well, you would go out and you would what did you say? What did you say? You would empower.
Organize.
Yeah. You would empower the community. You would build community collective empowerment and responsibility. Well, that sounded all good to me. Sounded real good. Of course, I found out a little different the more I got into it.
Then, you met Barack, right?
Pardon me?
You met Barack.
Well, here's what happened. About 3 months into the job, my supervisor came and said, well, I wanted you to, every now and then I want you to go meet with he's a tall guy with an African name. So I go out to the south side of Chicago. Who is it? President, well, it was Barack Obama, now president. With Barack, I always would mix it up with Barack. I would always have these debates with Barack. He always kind of leaned to the left. I always leaned to the right. I always had that compass that my parents put in me. So we would always mix up ideologies, and so he would always try to get me to see how inclusive everything was, and I would always try to get him to see that there's a line that you have to draw the line at some point, and so he didn't convince me. Obviously, I didn't convince him. But that was always interesting to be able to have those dialogues that I considered stimulating, so that I would try to get him to see my perspective. And back then it wasn't really political. It was mainly just, my mind was always a conservative perspective. And so, but eventually my dad was not real happy with organizing. And he would say, one little comment he made, and I knew that, uh-oh, it was about 3 years into it. He said, son, and, you know, older people in my area, they call him son, you know, this, son, he said, those committee organizers, it appears to me that truth to them is relative. So that on Monday, if they need truth to be truth, it'll be truth. But on Tuesday, if they need truth to be true, another type of truth. All right, there it is. So then when my father started talking like that, I said, "Ooh, boy, let me pay attention here." So then I realized, you know, I needed to move on after that. That was not, you know, sounded good, looked good. And community organizing can be very productive, but you have to have the right people in place. You have to have the people that really care about the community, not people who are going to manipulate and exploit the community. So I would not say that community organizing is bad. Sometimes community organizing can hold people's feet to the fire. I just felt that for me, in that particular setting, it was not squaring with my values. Then But I found that I loved working with people. I always had loved working with people. I moved on to, I decided to run as an elected local city councilman. And because it was about 5 people in the race, this was my first time, and I won that race, and I won a second race, and then my peers elected me as the city, this was the city of Harvey, Illinois, to the economic development chairperson position. And that's where I found I really loved working with business and creating policies that created an environment that brought businesses in. And I used a lot of the Reaganomics. If you really want to expand an economy, it's not the giveaways, not really the stimulus, it's really taxing policy. Creating a business environment,